Hey, how you doing? Justin here for Tammy's 4th guitar lesson. How you doing, Tammy?
Yeah, good.
Had a good week?
Yeah, it's been
Practiced hard.
I have.
With all your notes all written out and everything.
All my notes, yeah.
Super excellent. So let's start with how you went with the music theory. So we were kind of getting up to chords in the key and notes on the neck and all of that.
So the notes in the note circle, I just try to memorise more of the fretboard notes so that I can figure it out a lot faster, so that went well. I wouldn't say I know the alphabet backwards yet.
Right, okay. It's weird saying it backwards, isn't it?
Yeah, probably getting it a little bit quicker.
Okay.
And then the cage system, I found it really odd at first.
Right.
I tried to look through the patterns and make sense of it and couldn't quite piece it together, but then I started to...
Did you look at the lessons like the cage system on my site? See, the cage system, the whole thing, is fairly complicated.
Yeah.
I was more wanting you to just get a handle on the fact that there are 5 chord shapes to explore in open position.
I started making discoveries. So obviously, if you start with C and you need to get to A, you generally put the bar where that final finger is, and then it would go. I hate the G shapes.
No, okay,
I hate G
you're
shapes.
never going to use G shape.
Good. Okay,
ever.
Fine.
It's
horrible,
impossible.
but,
E shape and A shape you use. C shape you use a little bit. D shape you never use in the whole thing, and G shape you never use in the whole thing. Yeah. So I'm glad that we've ironed that out.
Good.
So,
but then obviously the A shape's there, and then you'd go down to that for the G and
yeah. Okay, so that's great. So you do understand the cage system. You understand how the chords are all linked together.
Yeah.
And that's probably helped you just get an overall picture of how the guitar works, because everything that you learn, every scale that you learn, every chord that you learn fits into one of those boxes. Yeah. So if you've explained it really well, the fact that you could see the C chord and then looked at the root note and then made the A chord and then the G chord and then the E chord, etc.
Am I right in does it work with, so say I'm playing an F?
Yeah.
If that's an E shape.
Yeah.
So if you were going to go down to D shape, then it would be like kind of thing, as in, so does it still work the same process?
Yes, absolutely. It works with every chord, everything, everywhere. That's amazing.
Okay.
You out there who are struggling with the cage system, you check this out. That's amazing. Right. So that's you've gone further than I'd hoped you'd gone with the cage system. I was just expecting you to explore the 5 open chord shapes, not figure out that there are all of these chords up and down the neck. That's wicked. Really well done. Okay. Notes on the neck though. Let's just go back and double check that. What's that note?
Memory blank. D.
Good. And that one?
G.
And I can't see your dot because you don't have a dot markers. There we go. And that one?
B. E.
Well done. And that one?
G sharp.
Or?
A flat.
Yeah. Well done. That one?
B.
Yeah. Excellent.
Okay.
And that one?
E flat or F. No.
You were almost there,
E.
but you said something that wasn't quite right.
F.
It's F.
Just
yeah,
F.
exactly. Just F,
Just
not
F.
E flat. E flat would be the other
back
side.
right.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
cool.
Okay, you've got that down. That's awesome. How far through did you get on grade? Because you were working on grade 3, right? Did you get through grade 3? Halfway through grade 3?
I mean, I think that I veered off into just finding videos that helped me figure out what you'd asked me to cover.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So kind of.
Okay. What you mean the caged thing,
like the
rather
cage
than
thing
doing it right?
and the
Okay.
keys thing, yeah.
Okay, the keys thing, that's important. So I can see from your notes there that you've written out some chords in the keys.
Yeah.
Stuff.
So like, is there 3 minors and 3 majors every key? Okay. So then I was trying to see if there was any like pattern that would help me understand it. So if it's like a G, chords of G, then if you need C and D as well, then it's like the same pattern for if you were doing chords of A. Does that make sense? So like the same distance down the fretboard.
Yes.
And then the same thing if it was A and D, it's like shifted down the fretboard as you go down, like what major chords it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So that's good. Now let me have a look. That's your note circle there. So flip that one over. You're fine with the note circle. Do stick with the note circle just a little bit, just so you can when I point to a note, I want it like instantly, because I want, if you're going to look at a chord chart, say, and just be able to look at it and be able to play those chords straight away, you need to know straight away those notes. So you can do it. It's great. Now you just want to speed it up a little bit. So anytime you've got 5 minutes spare and you've got the guitar there, just start put your finger anywhere between the 12th fret and the nut.
Yeah.
On the thickest 2 strings. Yeah. Just put your finger on a note and then just look at it and name it quick as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Keys. Give me a look at that sheet there. So that first one, just because there's something a bit weird on it. Now you're not going to be able to see this, and I'm not going to try and hold it up for the camera because it's not going to work. But you've got there the keys, the key of G, G, A minor, B minor, C, D, E minor. Perfect. Chords in the key of C. Mm. You got C minor, which is a bit weird.
I've written it down wrong.
Yeah, you've just written it down wrong. So you've written there chords in the key of C, and then you've got C and then C again.
Ah, okay.
So that needs to be C, D, E, F, G, A. So you've just written the C and the D where it should have been D and E.
Yeah.
But you've got the pattern right. The major, minor, minor, major, major, minor thing. That's correct.
Okay.
That's wicked.
Cool.
Question with capo on 3, is it still the key of C?
So I was playing the chords in the key.
Yep.
And I like the sound of them with capo on 3, or is that still the chords of C, even if the capo's on 3?
No, if the capo's on 3, you'd really be in the key of E flat.
Okay, because you count down.
Because you count how many up. So you were there in C, and if you've gone up 1, you've gone to C sharp, and if you've gone up 2, you've gone to D, and if you've gone up 1 more, you've gone up to E flat.
Okay.
Like if you had to talk to a piano player or whatever, you'd have to say, I'm in the key of E flat. Okay. You're playing in the key of C, with the capo on, but you'd have to communicate that in the key of E flat.
For them to be the same key as
For
you
them
with
to
the
be
capo.
in the same as you, exactly.
Got it.
I had originally thought that today I was going to do a capo special with you, but I'm not.
That's fine.
Because there's another thing that I want to cover first, which is the barre chord shapes. You've zoomed past that a little bit by learning the cage system, all 5 of the cage system shapes, but there's one particular chord grip that I want to spend some time playing and then explain about this nice little pattern and the way it's formed on the neck.
Yeah.
Enjoy chords in the key of C. Okay, findings. So just like when you're playing them, you like that little sequence and the way they feel on the fingers.
I think the sequences are ones that I usually pick anyway. Obviously, I didn't know at the time that they were chords in the key of C, but...
Yeah, a lot of the ones that you played me in the first couple lessons were in the key of G, because you had the G, D,
ones.
and the C, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the key of C as well. They fit nicely under the fingers.
Yeah.
I hate G cage shape. That's fine. You'd never have to play G cage shape.
Amazing.
Okay? There's a couple of licks that you can use if you are getting into more advanced stuff that it's really rare. F chord, cage system shape.
That's what I was
down
saying.
to D. Okay, you've totally got that. Struggling to memorize keys. What do you mean?
As in, like, what's in the key. So that's why I was saying what patterns are there that you can kind of notice and follow. So I found the fretboard thing.
Okay, I'm gonna. We cover that a little bit on the theory. Let's just get that last one. I play upbeats on downbeats recording.
This is when I was practicing my timing.
Yeah.
And when I've got a strumming pattern in my head.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I can hear the metronome, it's not that I'm out of time, but I notice that I'm sometimes playing an upbeat when I'm meant to be playing a downbeat.
Okay, is your hand moving continuously, or is it changing the direction of it?
I think it is, but I've still noticed I'm obviously like hesitating to hit the beat, but stay to the one I want. Does that make sense? That's how I think I'm...
Film yourself.
Yeah.
If you've got a pattern like that you're worried about, set up your little camera, iPhone or whatever, and just film yourself playing and watch your strumming hand, because your time's generally solid. I don't really worry about your timing. I worry about it playing with the metronome, but like the motion of your hand generally has been really consistent. So you need to figure out if you're doing something weird with your hand or whether, because I could ask you to do it now, but you might not. It might not be the circumstance.
What I found was I was emphasizing an upward strum and finding that it was hitting the metronome on a timing that I should have been doing a down strum. So I was like, okay, so I'm obviously skipping or...
So I mentioned to you just before we started filming, I've got another preamp audio interface coming week after next, and I'll be able to record us recording a tune once that, because I just can't do it with the kit that I've got right now. So I'm hoping maybe some of those things will come up in those lessons when we actually start trying to record a tune,
Yeah.
and we get the experience of you playing with the metronome and I'm having to listen back to it and then listen back to it with you, because I think that'll be really helpful for me and you to listen back to your playing and go, well, okay, was that one, were you rushing there or dragging it back, or how was it? How did it feel?
When I've been recording the last 2 weeks and just focusing on guitar, it's been really weird, because I think for me that's been like, okay, just get the guitar recording out the way, because I want to just sing over the top of it, and that's where the focus was. So it's been a matter of me like really resisting the temptation just to get it done, and I can write to it now, and just really focus on actually getting the guitar sounding like perfect and focusing on my timing and my strumming. So
if you're going to record, I mean, there's lots of different ways to approach that, because if you wanted to record a record, you'd probably be better off getting a professional guitar player to come in and do all of the guitar things, and you sing and produce it or say how it goes, or you get a producer in or whatever. But it's always nice to be able to do those sort of things, especially if you're recording demos at home.
Yeah.
You don't want it to suck
No.
when you're recording your guitar parts. And to be honest, you're at the level where it won't take much more work to be able to do a really confident, good guitar part, a usable, proper guitar part. And then you can decide, maybe you get someone else to do fancy stuff, but you want to do the rhythm things. I don't think you should shirk off.
No.
Because you're close to being able to do that properly. So we'll figure that the upbeats on downbeats when we have a go at recording.
Perfect.
Regarding memorizing the keys, I'm going to show you a little trick now anyway. So the main thing I want to be able to do today is, or after you leave and what you practice the next couple of weeks, is to be able to play the chords in any key straight away, and actually physically be able to play them as well.
Yeah.
Now, you're already familiar with the root 6, so that where the root note is on the thicker string.
Yeah.
You know the major shape and the minor shape. So if I ask you to play an A chord using the E shape bar chord, could you do that? You can. You've done it for me before.
What, using the E shape?
Yeah, using an E shape.
So.
That, but I want an A chord.
So it would be.
There you go. Sit up, Tammy. Come on. That's it.
So that'd be the A.
Forget that. Just go back to, where's the E shape? That's it. There's the root note. So put that on a note A. Where's the note A on the thicker string?
Oh.
You know that.
There.
You know that. Okay,
Yeah,
so that
got
is
it.
A major.
Yeah.
Yeah? Because this is a major, E major chord grip.
Yeah.
So we call that E shape. Yeah, or root 6. Either one of those things means the same thing. Root 6, root note on the 6th string, E shape, either of those. But it's an A chord.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If you wanted to make that a minor, what would you do? If you wanted to make it an A minor? Do you remember seeing minor on the note circle?
Yes. No, it's flat, not a minor.
Right, okay. Sharp and flat, okay,
Yeah,
is on the
got it.
note circle, not minor.
Okay.
What do you do if you got an E chord in an E minor? Okay, so you've got to remember, major and minor is the tonality of a chord.
Okay.
Yeah, not to do with where you put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bar will be the same whether it's major or minor or 7 or a 7 sharp 5 flat or whatever. The bar will be in the same place, or the
Okay.
root note will be in the same place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's major. Lift off the second finger. That's minor.
minor.
Okay. Show me an F sharp minor. So where's F sharp on the thicker string? On the 6th string, where's F sharp? That's F. So where's F sharp? No, that's F. That's
sharp,
F
minor.
sharp. Okay, so
Got it.
always think in terms of pitch first of all. So get your bar in the right place. Think A sharp, and then is it major or minor? So if I wanted to a B major chord, just regular B. No, on the thicker string, just
thickest.
using that one shape for now. I want to consolidate that one. So that shape, but we want a B chord. Yep, you got it. Sorry, it's just like, no fret markers, what is going on there? And they're even black. That must be horrible on a gig, to be able to see them. Anyway.
Well, it hasn't been relevant to me before, has it?
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah. I always, I got extra big ones put on mine, because if it's at a gig, I'd always struggle to see them. Anyway, so yeah, you're right, that's a B. Yeah?
Yep.
What about an A flat minor? A flat. Where's A? Where's A, first of all? So there's A. Now, flat. Where's flat?
Flat,
Good. And minor.
minor.
Excellent.
Okay.
So that's the order of it. Okay, the
Yeah.
note first,
Yeah.
the letter.
Yeah.
Then is it sharp or flat? Move it up and down.
Yeah.
And then major or minor determines where you're going to put whether a finger comes off or not.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, yeah, got it.
So, when we move on to, that's 6-string root, major and minor.
And that's using the E
E
shape.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's how you kind of tie it all together.
We're going to tie.
Practicing that.
Don't worry about tying all of the cage things together. For now, just think, because it's almost like, because you went a step further, there's this now going to be this lingering. But how do I link them all up? I don't want you to link them all up yet.
Don't remember it.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine. It's not a bad thing, but we just have to remember that some of that stuff, the G shape and the C shape and the D shape, we're just going to let them be for a little while. It's great that you understand them, but we're not going to play them yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
But we really want to learn the A shape ones.
Okay.
Okay. Now, there's the root note D on
Yep.
the 5th fret. Okay, so put a bar down. Now, when we're playing a 5th string root bar chord, really the tip of the finger wants to just touch the thicker string if you can, just to mute it. Okay.
Yep.
Now, you already knew the minor one, so do you remember the minor shape? So if we were making this a D minor, remember how to do that?
A D minor.
Yeah. Do you remember a B minor chord? I think you knew already a B minor.
Yeah.
Can you play me a B minor?
I think.
That's it.
so,
Okay,
yeah.
so this is like an A minor shape, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I know it looks like an E one on the wrong strings, but
Yeah.
E and A minor look like the same shape, don't they?
Right. Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So this is a 5th string root, and this shape, in the current location of where it's at, is a minor chord, and the root note is there on the 5th string. Okay, so this is a minor chord, minor shape.
Okay.
So if you want to make that a D minor, can you try and do that for me? So where's the note D, first of all?
Yeah.
On the 5th string.
D.
That's it, D.
Yeah.
And you've got the minor shape. That's it.
So there's no major shape on that one.
Yet. We're about to do
Okay.
it, right? So how could you change that into a major shape? That's an A minor. What would we need to do to be able to make that a major shape? Good. Okay, now, the only problem there is playing that really sucks.
Yeah, it
it's
does.
difficult to try and get, because actually that finger needs to be a little bit further up like that. That finger has to be back a little bit. You have to try. It's just awkward. And,
Yep.
and to be honest, you very rarely do it. I don't think I've played that chord that way for at least 3 or 4 years, right?
Okay.
The easier / loads harder but easier once you've given it some practice way is to use your 3rd finger only. So lift off, that's it. This one's going to go down there and do a little bar. No,
Oh,
off.
do a bar.
And yeah, a little bar with the 3rd finger.
Man.
Okay, now it wants to be right up next to the fret. That's
Yep.
it. First finger's going to stretch back. Try and let that finger bend a little bit as well, because actually it doesn't need to do a bar anymore.
Oh, okay.
Right, so it just needs to play that one note.
Mhm.
Mute the thicker
And does
string.
that need to bar like
no,
all
no.
of them?
Let's
Just
worry about that
3?
in a second. So that tip of that finger touching that string,
Mhm.
touching the thicker string. That's it, and pressing down that one note. Good. This finger's playing these 3. That's it. Okay, now I'm going to show you the secret for learning to play this chord.
Okay.
Right? If you don't do it, you'll never get it. Once you practice doing this, and you're not going to learn it this lesson, but I want you to learn it over the next 2 weeks.
Mhm.
The trick is to get this knuckle further forward toward me than the finger. That's it. You want that knuckle to be inverted exactly like that.
That looks weird.
It looks weird, but that's, look, if I do it, it's exactly the same thing, right? Just, can you see that? So this knuckle is further away from the fretboard than this part of the finger. It's got to go like that. Otherwise you just won't be able, that's it, you got it. So it wants to be as close to the fret as you can. So the first job that you're going to have, that's it. Relax this hand a little bit. Relax it, that's it. No, I know, look, I know. It always used to annoy me when my teachers would say, just relax. I'm like, yeah, it's easy, you can do it,
Trying
I'm
to hold them
struggling. Yeah,
down,
exactly, yeah. But what I mean by that is to try and enable me to move your hand just a little bit. That's more like what you want. Do you see here I've just straightened your wrist a little bit?
Yeah.
That's it. Now try and reach the first finger over to there. That's it. Good. Now try and just relax the hand a bit. Keep the fingers in place. That's it. Relax your shoulder down. That's it. Good. Now that's a good shape, and this, it's all perfect, and this shouldn't be ringing out. Oh, we've got it with the bar. Okay, just mute it. That's it. We don't want to hear that note. You can, but don't worry about it. You're better off not hearing it. Okay, have a rest.
Ooh.
Yeah. So everybody struggles with that chord when they learn it. It's when people talk about their guitar journeys and how much they struggled with an F chord, that ain't nothing compared to learning. It's usually a B chord or whatever. This A-shaped bar chord, a fifth string root major chord. Now, the things that you want to avoid, you have to remember you have to remember first of all that knuckle should be further away. Okay, that's the key thing. What you also don't want is this, and that's what you were trying to do before. You were trying to keep your fingers and your hand straight, and that makes this massive crook in your wrist.
Yeah.
When that happens, all of the tendons run it, because you know that your fingers are controlled by muscles in your arm, right? There's hardly any muscle in your finger. They're up here. So if you're wobbling your fingers around like that, they get really tight in the carpal tunnel, and it can cause pain and injury and all sorts of stuff. So you want to try and keep that flat. You'll never keep it like dead flat. It'll always have a little bit of a bend, but you don't want it to be like a right angle. Okay.
Got it.
So when you're going for this chord, it's really tempting to do this.
To get the leverage.
But what you'll find is that as soon as you bring that hand up, and it's kind of coming back as well. Can you see it's kind of forward and now it's coming back behind a little bit as well. As soon as you do that, it'll help this finger become looser and help you increase the pressure here.
Okay.
Now, here's the pressure, and it's moving. It's like a lever between the thumb being over here behind where the first finger is and the third finger. It's kind of like you can twist it a little bit to get that pressure with the third finger, and that's when I'm saying, oh, relax your hand, because I want the first finger and here to be, can you feel that this is down pretty strong, right? That's really strong down, but look, my first finger is completely movable, but this is still really tight, because that's the hard part in that chord, is pressing down that third finger. The first finger should be kind of loose. It's not a big bar.
Yep.
Don't worry, it's only got to deal with playing that one note.
Okay.
Now, you're kind of lucky in that the length of that joint of your third finger is just the right length that you can play those three, and by lifting it up, you can actually get that top string as well to ring out. Okay, that. But you don't need it. And it's actually a pain to try and think about getting it all the time, and I don't think it sounds as good.
Okay.
So you want to make sure that thinnest note is muted.
Okay.
And it can be muted by the underneath of the third finger there, or the underneath of the first finger there, it doesn't matter. But when you strum the chord, when you practice it, you want to hear muted note on the thickest string. Note, 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 note. And muted on the thinner string, so you only hear the middle four strings even though you strum all of them.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The first stage on your practice of this is going to be just putting it on, taking it off, put it on, take it off, right? It's fine to move it around, but you'll get better practice just starting with your hand off and then try and put it down. So first finger on the root note, start with the root note. Then put the third finger down as close to the fret as you can. Then think about this leverage idea. Sometimes it can help to lift off the first finger just to, make sure that you've got the leverage right between your thumb and your third finger. Then put the first finger down, play the notes, check the outside two strings are muted, and then try it again. Lift it off and try it again.
So sucks even more up here.
Okay, yeah, it's good. Oh yeah, it's a joyful event, this one. Okay, so let's just try that a few times. So you've put your first finger there, so let's try that chord. So first finger down first, third finger down flat, as close as you can to the fret. That's it. Now get the hand up, not elbow up. Sorry, not shoulder and elbow up. That's it. So try and avoid doing this. You just went like this and you went, okay, and then it's just creates all sorts of problems. So down, 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 down. Third finger's on the wrong string. That's it. Those three. That's it. That's it. You got it. That's it. Now, do you see what a difference it made as soon as you lifted that back?
Yeah.
And that should sound good. Yeah, you got it. You missed the thinnest. No, that's it. Okay, you've got the bar. If you're getting that, you can leave it, but you're better off just lifting the first finger ever so slightly and then it's muted. You got it. Great.
Yeah, that's
Make sure you give yourself plenty of rest between tries at doing it. You're going to find that the muscle hurts, that the underneath of your finger here, especially if you're not used to doing this kind of chord, the tips of your fingers are going to be quite strong right now, but this part of your finger is going to feel really raw and it'll hurt a bit. Try not to get it to painful, right? So when it gets sore, be like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go and do something else, work on my strum and record something or whatever. You don't want it to become really painful, because then you'll have to have like 3 or 4 days off when it
I
gets
think it would
painful.
be being really strict with my wrist as well, definitely. So I think that must be something I do quite a lot, break it in two like that, because I can feel it definitely through there. So it'll be
always try and keep, even with your E-shaped bar chord. So go show me the big E-shaped bar chord, like a G chord. That's it. Yeah, you're not too. Yeah, that's not too bad, because I see people doing it like that, right, with their wrist really crooked. You've already got that back. Just try and relax it back a bit. That's it. And try and avoid making the tension here in your shoulder. That's it. Because as soon as you do like this, you create lots of tension in your shoulder. You get headaches, all of that sort of stuff. So always try and think that the shoulders want to come down. An interesting thing that I can't remember if it was an I think it might have been an osteopath said that was push your shoulders down and then relax, and they stay down. That's the relaxed position, because sometimes we feel like, oh yeah, my shoulders are relaxed, but we're just used to having so much tension there that they set up a bit. So it can be worth, when you're playing, to like physically push them down and then see they'll probably stay down there. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you've now got 4 bar chord shapes.
Yep.
A major and a minor with a 6th string root, and a major and a minor with a 5th string root. Make sense? So you need to practice that major chord shape more on your own before you try this next step, but I want to give it to you now anyway, so that you can see where I'd like you to take it, and I want you to use that for this songwriting exercise thing. Yeah. So you were asking about patterns of chords and how it might work on the neck. And that's a really good way of thinking about it, rather than trying to think in terms of knowing the scales and knowing the notes and having to remember all of that major scale chart and all of that.
Yeah.
If you think, and this is in the theory course that you've probably encountered already, there's 6 notes. If you think, here's G, and you just think that we've got a note there, miss a note there, miss a note and a note, and then we start on the next string with the same pattern, note, miss a note, note, miss a note, note.
Yeah.
That's of the major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can hear it. To finish the scale, we just got another 2, but that one's the one that we don't play. That 7th degree of the scale. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Okay. Now, if you think like that, remember that the major chords are on the 1, the 4, and the 5. That means that it's here. Just watching for a second, Tammy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the major chords were here then on 1, 4, and 5. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Here's the little kind of L shape, if you like. Yeah?
Okay. Yeah.
And then 1, 2, 3, that would be minor. That would be minor.
Okay.
So you end up with major, minor, minor, major, major, minor. That would be all of the chords in the key of G.
Yep.
So even if you didn't know what the notes were on the fretboard, and you didn't know the notes like from doing the note circle or any of that stuff, you could still figure out the chords in the key are these.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, this is something I want you to work on practicing, is figuring it out and then practicing it exactly like I've just done to start off with. So you're getting practice playing your major, minor, minor, then you've got to practice the major twice in a row, and major, and shifting it, and then moving it up 2 frets and finding your minor shape.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is a great exercise on its own.
Yeah.
I want you to start with that, then I want you to start moving it around to different keys and moving the chords around. So figure it out, what they are in your head. Let's say we move it up to here, key that might be quite foreign. Yeah, exactly, in between the 5th and the 7th fret.
Okay.
What note is it?
G.
No.
Can
I think of the main notes? What's that one?
Oh, A.
So that's going to be
A sharp.
A sharp or...
B flat.
Yes, well done. So the chords in the key of B flat, we don't even have to worry about writing down a chart. We can just go, well, there's the major chord, up 2 frets minor chord, up 2 frets minor chord, then back to the same fret as we started on, major chord, minor chord.
Okay, yeah.
Now, we can muck around with the order of that. All of those chords are going to sound great together because they're all in the same key.
Yeah.
Now, you've got a look on the face of like, I think I might almost get it, but right now it doesn't still make sense to me.
No,
So,
no, I do get it. Yeah, it's just absorbing it.
yeah, okay, let's try it from here, from the 2nd fret. So we don't have to worry about the key. I don't want you to think about what the key is. I don't care really right now. So that's your 1 chord, the major chord.
Yep.
So put down a major chord. So that's the 1 chord. Strum it. Give me a strum as well so I can hear it. There we go. Now the 2 chord. Where's the 2 chord going to be? Just up 2 frets. That's it. So from there we go up 2. That's it. And minor. Good. Now up 2 frets and minor. That's it. Back to the fret we started on, but major with the 5th string root. So you're going to, no, major. That one, but yes,
like
let's do it. Okay, just struggle through it for now. I know that we've only just done it. That's it. Wrist up, wrist up, wrist up, wrist up. No, relax. That, no, not shoulder. Here, straighten, straighten. Try and relax your hand for me here. Relax. That's it. Just to try and straighten your wrist a little bit. That's the one. Good. Major. Play it. Good. Up 2 frets. Good. Up 2 frets and now a minor grip. Well, that's it. Amazing. Yeah, so you just played the chords in the key of F sharp.
Okay.
You didn't have to know it was F sharp, G sharp minor, A sharp minor, B, C sharp minor, and D sharp minor. You didn't have to know that.
Yeah.
It's just that little, when you're talking about finding a pattern, that's a lot easier than trying to remember chords in horrible keys.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Okay.
There are other patterns that we can use as well, but this is by far the best one and the easiest one to get going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So the course for your progression for this is 1, get that A-shaped bar chord down, right? The horrible one. Yeah, there's some lessons on it. Again, I'll link through to stuff on the website if you want to revise stuff again later. Key things being keeping the hand flat, making sure that that knuckle is further forward, remembering that you've got that, you know, that the first finger should be able to kind of come off with the 3rd finger still keeping nice and tense.
Yep.
Watch out for the 3rd finger, the 2nd finger and the little finger doing funny things. You want them to just hang out and be relaxed. You don't want them poking up or trying to force themselves in on anything. Just leave them about, right?
Okay.
Sometimes, just if you watch any videos of me playing, you'll sometimes see I play it like this. So I use my little finger with my 3rd finger sitting on top. It's kind of a bad habit. It's just from like if I'm playing a lot or a long gig or whatever, it's just a different way of my hand playing it, so that the muscles don't get too tired. Just in case people always see stuff like that on the video and go, "Oh, you said I should play it that way," and you're doing it different. Once you feel confident with that, then I want you to start practicing the chords in order, in whatever key you like. G and A and C and F sharp and whatever.
Yeah.
Literally just doing... Okay, do that a few times. Once you're confident you know where they are, see if you can move between them just randomly. Still all in the same key, but just trying to kind of make this visual pattern of these 6 notes, these 6 root notes, and then remembering that the major ones are there and the minor ones are there, and being able to just move from the minor there, minor, minor, major, minor, major, major, whatever sequence you like.
Yeah.
Make sense?
It does, yeah.
While you're exploring that, I'm hoping you're going to find a couple of chord progressions that you really like. So either next lesson or the one after, because next lesson we might end up doing the capo thing, depends on how well I've got the studio sorted out with this recording, the studio bit, recording part. But I want to start developing a tune, and I'd like you to have a few seeds that we can draw from. I want you to have a few, not just one, because especially if we're going to try and write a tune together, I need to like it. And not that it's not like I've got anything against anything in particular, but we just have, both of us have to feel it. You have to play something and I go, yeah, that's cool, that's interesting, let's use that. And the same if I come up with an idea, if you go, well, like that, and I go, well, what if we change it a bit like this? If you don't feel it, you have to say, like, actually, you know what, I'm not cool with that, right? So have a few in the bag, right? I keep a little pad where I write down whenever I get little song ideas, I write them down. I also use my the memos, the voice memo thing on the phone, and I just, if I've got a new idea, I'll just stop and record it straight away, title it song or riff or whatever it is, you know. So see if you can get, you know, a little collection of those to work on for next time.
Cool.
Does that make sense?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, what was on my list of stuff to do? So we've done the theory. We've chatted about the notes on the neck, and you're doing really well with that. We've looked at the bar chords. We've looked at the chords in the key. Okay, the metronome and recording thing. So, you're using Logic?
Yeah, for recording.
Yeah? Okay. So, one thing I'd like you to try, which you'll just find really interesting, I think, is to, with your downstrokes thing, set a tempo, let's say, I don't know, between 80 and 100.
Yeah.
And I want you to hit record, listen to the metronome, put the metronome in your headphones,
Yeah.
and I want you to do a muted hit just with the pick. So just cover all the strings, have the volume up, and just do like this. Right, just right on the beat. So it's exactly with the metronome as you can possibly make it.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Then I want you to stop after a minute or a couple of minutes and go and look at the waveform, because you'll see there's a grid in Logic. You can even see it up there now you can see the little lines going down.
Yeah.
So if you expand that up and make it bigger, you'll see the line exactly going through where the beat was.
Yeah.
And your guitar should be exactly on that.
Beat.
So it's a really good way of you visually seeing, are you pushing ahead or behind or not?
It'll be ahead every time, yeah.
Right, okay, well, see, if it's ahead every time, really do your best to try and relax. I often think about, like, how would I play if I'm a bit stoned? If it's like, if I'm pushing ahead, because everyone's guilty of it sometimes, especially if you're feeling a bit excited about a tune or whatever. You got a bit of adrenaline in, it tends to be a bit excited.
It's the chorus that gets me. I think I suddenly starts feeding up on it. Yeah.
You got to relax into it, right? So just trying to think of everything. It's almost in slow motion, but when you feel that, most people find they lock into the groove a bit better if you're just feeling like so relaxed and carefree, and a lot of it kind of you don't even, I'm not talking about getting stoned, right? But just the imagining what it might be like to be stoned.
A bit floaty.
And a bit floaty and a bit relaxed, and it can help remove the tension in your body so that you can sit in the groove a bit better. That's usually the way around if you rush all the time. You might find that you can adjust in your headphones the click from Logic and the volume of your guitar, right?
Okay.
If you can do that, a really good little game to play is to get the volume of the guitar loud or quiet enough so that you can still hear the click if you don't play right on it. But if you play exactly on it, you can't even hear the click at all.
Yeah.
Because you should be able to just do the down clicks with the click and not even hear the metronome click at all. To the point where you worry, is the metronome even there? Has it stopped? And only if you stop or if you play out of time, you'll hear the metronome. Okay, that's the best timekeeping exercise I think that you can do. Yeah, I call it the disappearing metronome trick. You can do it with a regular metronome as well if you just sit it on the body of your guitar, but you have to adjust the volume. Yeah. Because if the metronome's like really super loud, you're always going to hear it no matter how tight you get with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we talked about the song Seed for the next lesson. That's what I want you to work on for the next couple of weeks. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Any questions?
I think one thing I found, you know how you were saying that I need to cover up the last string, like mute it?
Yeah.
So if I'm coming from an A and I was using the trick you were saying about your thumb,
using your thumb,
can you do the same thing with the C? Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay.
I found sometimes I was putting it down too hard and actually playing the note.
The thumb
with
was
my
playing
thumb,
the note.
so I was having to, it's that.
It's one of those, it's just practice. All of those things. One of the things that's really interesting that I only realised when I started teaching a lot was that our fingers can feel things that we don't even register. We don't know that it's happening. I'm really conscious as to whether a finger is touching another string or not. But I don't think about it. I only notice it when something goes wrong. And I could be like, oh, that's not there. And you'll find it's the same thing with the pressure of the thumb there. That you just, it's got to be so slight.
Just a little bit.
Your finger will get to know where the string is.
Yeah.
And you'll register when it's touching or not. And if it's not touching, you won't be conscious of it. But your thumb should just naturally move itself to that point where it's just touching it enough, but not pressing it down.
Yeah.
But that isn't something that happens. It's like these subroutines like strumming and being able to play with a click or whatever. Because when you're recording, in case you didn't realise, when you're recording a tune for real, you shouldn't be thinking about the click. Right? You shouldn't have to be thinking about playing with the click. You're thinking about putting some sort of musical expression into what you're doing, or maybe you've got difficult chords that you need to think about a bit, or whatever.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to be thinking about is the click.
You should just naturally be sitting in it.
Exactly. But when you said you should naturally be sitting with it, what that entails is that you've done it so often that you've created a little subroutine in your brain that deals with it without you having to think about it, the same as changing gear when you drive or whatever.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that we do, writing or whatever. You don't think about writing each letter when you write a word. You just kind of go, write this word, and the hand has remembered how to do it, right? So that's the thing that you want to develop with all of these skills, like the thumb touching everything, the chord shapes, even to some extent knowing the notes on the fretboard. They want to become so automatic that it just happens. You don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
That's just, I think it can help being aware of that as the long-term goal, particularly with things like playing with a click. Because right now, I want you focused on it. I want you thinking about that click and trying to play it exactly right and I just went all tense when I did that. But actually, that's the opposite. You be nice and relaxed, really just trying to play with that click and really focused on that.
Yeah.
But the reason I want you really focused on it now is because the more you focus on it, the better you'll build this little subroutine, and the sooner we can forget about it and never discuss it again unless it goes wrong.
Yeah. Definitely.
That makes sense? Because the only time you think about it is like if you're struggling with it. And I've had it a few times with the Strangers records where I've made a part that's been too difficult for myself. And I really want to play it, but either it's like I can't quite play it fast enough or it's just really complicated and I'm really concentrating on trying to play it with the click.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to, but it's not what I want. It's not the ideal.
When I was experimenting with taking fingers on and off, I'd want to hammer it, but the hammer would throw me completely out. So I was like, okay, I'll settle for like an on and then an off.
Yes, okay. Yeah. Lots of things will throw you until the subroutines develop properly. Once the subroutine's in place, like tapping the foot, once the foot is going, I kind of can't even help it. If music comes on the radio or whatever, my foot just starts tapping along with it and I don't think about it. It can be probably pretty annoying for people around me, right? But it's not, that's the kind of thing that you're aiming for with nearly all of these skills. You want them to be as automated as you can.
Yeah, okay.
Make sense?
Yep. Cool.
Any other questions?
I don't think so.
No, nothing else on your pad? We covered all of those other ones.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything.
Awesome. Well,
yep.
I think you're doing really well, Tammy.
Thanks,
Great that
I'm really
you're
enjoying
practicing. We didn't get the little tick boxes thing now. I've got to go and print you out one of those forms now. Oh, no, you have got. Yeah, okay, look at that. Awesome. See, look, give that to me. See, this is what we want.
This is old school.
If you're doing practice, ticking off the boxes, Lee. That's really well done. Amazing. Do you notice there's anything about the practice, like when you manage to get practice done, or things that screw it up that stop you practicing?
Not screw it up. I think I still go with my mood. So if I'm in the mood to like play around with timing and recording, I tend to just do that rather than like doing keys, cage system, and then going into it. Whereas when I'm doing the theory stuff, it's like, well, okay, I'm going to sit down and just do theory this time.
There's similarities here between this sort of stuff and like going to the gym things, where you kind of like, oh God, I'm really tired, I don't think I can go today. But if you can get through that occasionally, there are benefits to it. So on the days where you really don't feel like it, try and find, if you don't feel like doing a particular like gnarly stuff, try and find something else that you'd like to do. It's almost like I'm not going to the gym today, but maybe I'll go for a run instead, or that kind of.
So it was quite funny because when I was doing some key stuff and like figuring out the shapes and the minors and everything, I was messing around learning Hallelujah, the covered version, embarrassing.
The Buckley one.
Yeah. And when he goes a minor fall and a major lift, I was like, oh my God, I can see that's a major and a minor, and
amazing.
Trying to see the shapes I was doing at the same time, whereas before I just would have looked at the chords and just played them. So
Great.
that's cool.
Yeah, and keep going with the discoveries thing, because that's really good. Okay. That's great for me to be able to see the discoveries that you're making. That's awesome.
Okay.
And if you don't know it, check out the Rufus Wainwright version of Hallelujah. That's my favourite one. Okay. It's on piano, not guitar. Buckley's one's great for the guitar part, but I think Rufus nails it for the singing. Anyways, really hope you're enjoying this series. Feedback and stuff will be over on the website, as well as lesson notes and links to all of the related parts of the website. So say bye-bye to the internet there, Tammy.
Bye.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Later. Bye-bye.